Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about one of the important topics in strength of material subjects, stress and strain. Now I am presenting the content. Stress and strain. From this topic, we are going to discuss about introduction to stress and strain, stress strain diagram, elasticity and plasticity and Cook's law, shear stress and shear strain, load and stress limit, axial force and deflection of body. The stress, this this the word any design engineers or mechanic engineers or material science engineers must know what is the stress. Blindly, the stress we can define when a force is applied to an elastic body, the body deforms. The way in which the body deforms depends upon the type of force applied to it. The another way we can define stress, the internal resistance force against applied load is called stress. I repeat, the property of the body at which the internal resistance force against applied load is called stress. See here the two diagrams. This on the box rectangular body is subjected to the force. This force is called compressive force. One end is fixed, the metal body or wooden body is fixed at the bottom. At the middle of the body, we are applying the force downward. This type of force is called compression force. When the body is subject to compression force, the body gets shorter. You see this horizontal one body, metal body, wooden body. One end is fixed, the other end is free. We are pulling towards the middle of the body, the force. This force is called a tensile force. Makes the body longer. Generally, two types of forces we can easily see. One is compressive force and the second one is tensile force. Tensile and compressive forces are called direct forces. Stress. Direct forces. Because you can see that based on the direction of force, whether it is compressive or tensile, we can identify the direction of the force applied on the body. Mathematically, the stress is the force per unit area upon which acts. The equation stress equal to sigma force by area equal to FIA. Its units Pascal. It is denoted by PA. Or 1 Pascal equal to Newton per meter squared. As a student, we must know the unit of the any quantity. A stress unit Pascal or Newton per meter squared. The stress is denoted by sigma. Sigma. In the most of the engineering field, used kilopascal, megapascal, gigapascal. Previously, we discussed two stresses. One is compressive stress, another is tensile stress. These two stresses are called direct stresses. Why it is called direct stresses? We can see directly based on the force acting, whether it is compressive or tensile. Compressive stress equal to compressive force divided by area of cross section. Tensile stress equal to tensile force divided by area of cross section. Correspondingly, whenever the stress is acting on the body, corresponding the strain will be there. Whenever load applied, the body gets deformation or elongation. That is the standard. For any body, if applied force, the body gets, based on the load, it's shortening or elongating. Here, see, in each case, a force F produces the deformation X. In engineering, we usually change the force into stress and the deformation into strain, and we define these as follows. Strain is the deformation per unit of the original length. Another way, strain equal to change in length divided by original length. The strain's simple, epsilon equal to x divided by L. X means change in length divided by original length. The strain has no units. Since it is the ratio of length to length, most of the engineering materials do not stretch very much before they become damages. So strain values are very small figures. It is quite normal to change small number into the exponent of 10 power minus 6. Generally, all the material gets elongating or shortening when the load is applied, but it is a small amount. That's why it is the value is a small number into the exponent of 10 power minus 6. So here we discuss strain. Strain equal to deformation per unit of the original length. Then modulus of velocity, Young's modulus. Elastic materials always spring back into original when roll is released. This is called, they also obeys Cook's law. We know Cook's law, it states that within an elastic limit, the body gets original shape and size after removing the load, is called Cook's law. Based on the Cook's law, this law of spring, which states that the deformation directly proportional to force. See, take as a spring, the x is deformation or elongation, x is x-axis, there is a deformation, f force, applied force. When force increases, the spring, the elongation also gradually increases. Okay, we know stiffness equal to force by deformation or elongation. Therefore, the stiffness is different for the different material and different sizes of the material. We may eliminate the size by using the stress and the strain instead of force and deformation. We know stress equal to force by area. Therefore, force equal to sigma into A. We know strain equal to change length original length. Therefore, change length equal to strain into L. Therefore, we know Cook's law, stress is directly proportional to strain. Therefore, sigma by strain equal to, apply this all the values, that is F by X. Therefore, A, L, therefore FL divided by AX. The stiffness is now in terms of stress and strain only in this constant is called modulus of elasticity. Young's modulus equal to stress by strain. What is stress? F by A. What is strain? Change in length divided by original length. The final modification equation equal to Young's modulus equal to F into L divided by A into change in length. The unit of Young's modulus is the same as stress, that is Newton per meter square or Pascal. Then ultimate tensile stress. If a material is stretched until it breaks, the tensile stress has reached the absolute limit, and this level is called the ultimate tensile stress. See, any material, it is going to fail when the load is highly applied. When the resisting power is less, when load is increases, it is definitely going to fail at some point. That before reaching the maximum resisting level, that time load is called ultimate load. That's a definition. If a material is stretched until it breaks, the tensile stress has reached the absolute limit, and the stress level is called the ultimate tensile stress. This is stress strain diagram. This is stress diagram. There is point O to A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E. The O to A linear region. Here x-axis taken as a strain, y-axis is stress. Okay, O to A linear region. That means strain is directly proportional to stress. Okay, that is up to A is called a proportional limit. Proportional limit means at the point itself, the body regain original shape and size after removing the load. It's called a proportional limit or elastic limit. That means body, when apply load, the body get elongation. Up to some limit, if I remove the load, the body gets original shape. That limit is called a proportional limit. Point B, yield stress. Yield stress means if small amount of load after reaching proportional limit, if I am applying small amount of load, the body gets some elongation, additional elongation, yield. That point is called a yield point. The correspondence is called yield stress. That is, yield stress equal to yield load divided by area of cross section. The B to C, perpetual plasticity or yielding. After B to C, the B to C, see, after some amount of I am applying load, the elongation is always continuously goes to up to point C. That is called a C. That is, the graph must be like somewhat little bit higher. C is upper yield point. Okay. Then D. D equal to ultimate stress. Ultimate stress is the point at which the body can resist maximum load. The body can resist maximum load. That point is called the ultimate point. The corresponding load is ultimate load. The corresponding stress is called ultimate stress. Therefore, ultimate stress is equal to ultimate load divided by area of cross section. E. Fracture point or failure point. That is, after reaching the maximum load, when applied load, the necking is forming. Necking means before going to fail, no, small amount. When the rod is higher, when I elongated, extended, the body getting necking before going to fail. The neck is formed. That point, the breaking point. After necking, it definitely going to, when apply load, it's going to fail. This breaking point. So O to A is proportional limit, elastic limit. B, yield, that is lower yield point. Sometimes you can call lower yield point. C is upper yield point. And the D equal to ultimate point or maximum point. That means maximum load can carry the material. E means failure, breaking point. After reaching the maximum load of the material, resisting power, after that the material gets a necking or breaking. That point called a breaking point. Yeah, this elastic behavior, Session diagram. The curve is straight line throughout most of the region. The stress is proportional with the strain. Material to be linearly plastic up to here, O to A, linearly elastic, linear region. That is, stress is increases, strain also increases. Proportional limit. The upper limit is to linear line. The material still respond elastically. The curve tend to bend and flatten out. Elastic limit. Upon the reaching this point, if the load is removed, the specimen will return to original shape. Elastic limit. Yielding. A slight increase in stress above the elastic limit will result break down the material and cause it to deform permanently. This behavior is called the yielding. See, the A to B also we can consider here. Proposed limit A at point A, proposed limit. After a slight increase in stress above the elastic limit will result in um, breakdown of the material and cause it to deform permanently. This pair is called yielding. The stress called corresponds to yield stress, that is yield point. Yield stress gives plastic deformation. The body does not come back original shape and size. Once the yield point is reached, the specimen will elongate without any increase in load and the material in the state perfectly plastic. See this point, B to C. Perfectly plastic or yielding. When yielding has ended, the further load is applied, resulting is curve that rises continuously, become flat when reached ultimate stress. This rise in the curve is equal to strain hardening. While specimen is elongating, the cross-sectional will decrease. The decrease is fairly uniform. This point. Cross-sectional decreases, the maximum load can carry the material. At the ultimate stress, the cross-sectional area begins its localized region of specimen. It is caused by the slip planes formed within material. So at the breaking point, neck is formed. Okay, I told you already. After reaching the ultimate, they again apply load. The necking is formed. At the point E, the body is going to fail or fractured. That's called fracture stretch. So we have discussed what is stress, strain, and elasticity and the stress strain curve of mild steel. Next, another stress, shear stress. Previously, we discussed compressive stress and tensile stress. The two stresses are direct stresses because we can see visually, we can see whether based on the load, whether it is compressive load or tensile load. Based on the load, we can say there is compressive stress or tensile stress. But shear stress, we can't directly see the load acting on the body. The shear stress, we can say indirect stress. See here, one of the metal, I applied force at some distance. Okay. The shear force is a force applied sideways on the material, transversely loaded. Like that. When in your hands, this shear. Similarly, we can, I can say the scissor. When taking scissor, no, the one is the sliding. Okay, scissor. Okay, this is called shear. When pair of shear cut the material. The punching also. It is punched, you can say. Similarly, when the beam has transverse load, this is the beam, apply load. So each layer getting shear, each layer, okay, of the beam. Shear stress is the force per unit area carrying the load. This means the cross-sectional area of the material being cut, the beam and the pin. Shear stress, the symbol tau. Tau equal to FIA. Here F means shear force, okay, or tangential force. The sign connotes shear force, positive shear or negative shear. Then how to find the strain? See, the previously we discussed tensile stress and compressive stress. Tensile stress, the body elongation. Okay, the body gets elongation. So tensile strain equal to change in increase in length divided by original length. Similarly, compressive strain, shortening, the body gets shorter. Therefore, compressive strain equal to decrease in length divided by original length. But here shear strain is different. The shear strain we can measure angular deformation, angular deviation. See here, the force causes the material to deform as shown. The shear strain is defined as the ratio of the distance deformed to the height. Since this is a very small angle, gamma, we can say that. Therefore, see here, one body is there. I apply tangential force F. The body, the bottom is body is fixed. One plate, consider one metal plate or wood. Okay, I apply tangential force to the other upper end. So body just moved. The gamma. That is tan gamma equal to opposite divided by adjacent side. So tan gamma equal to x by L. Generally, tan gamma equal to a very small L. That's why I take as a gamma equal to x by L. Okay, this is shear strain. Then modulus of rigidity. So up to here I stopped for today session. Once again I'm repeating what we discussed. We started from topic stress and strain. We started so what we discussed today, stress and strain. We can say simple stress and the simple strain. What is simple stress? The load acting on the body divided by cross-sectional area. Another way we can define the internal resistance of the body against applied load is called stress. Stress equal to force by area. We know force into Newton. Area we can say meter square. So Newton per meter square. Stress, three types of stress, generally three types. Tensile stress, compressive stress, shear stress. Tensile stress and compressive stress are direct stress, which means we can see the load direction. Tensile, we know the load is pulling both sides, is called tensile. Or one side body is fixed, we are pulling, this is called tensile. Compressive stress, this is called compressive load and pushing both sides. Or one side fixed body I am pushing, that is compressive. So side is based on the direction of force, we can say tensile stress, tensile force or compressive force. So tensile stress equal to tensile stress equal tensile force divided by area of cross section. Compressive stress equal to compressive force divided by area of cross section. The corresponding strain, tensile strain and compressive strain. What is strain? Strain, it is defined as the ratio of change in original dimension divided by original dimension. That is change in length divided by original length. For example, for applying tensile load, the body gets elongation. How much elongation? This is the original length. The body gets some response elongated, no? Therefore, the tensile strain equal to increase in length divided by original length. Compressive strain equal to decrease in length divided by original length. Corresponding elasticity or Young's modulus. Based on Cook's law, what it says that within an elastic limit, the body regains original shape and size after removal of load is called Cook's law. It says that within an elastic limit, the body regains original shape and size. It's called Cook's law. Therefore, stress equal to directly proportional strain. Therefore, stress equal to the constant capital E into strain. Therefore, Young's modulus equal to E equal to stress by strain. Next is shear stress. See, shear stress is indirect stress. Best example, you take scissor. No, we are cutting scissor. No, just one edge. One is side is touching with another. Similarly, this one shear. Okay. So shear stress equal to shear force divided by shear area, not area per area, shear area. The corresponding strain equal to shear strain, but it can be measured in the angle of angular deformation, angular deviation. So today we discussed stress, strain, types of stress and types of strain, elasticity, and the stress strain curve. Stress strain curve, you take x-axis a strain, y-axis stress. The stress strain curve for mild steel. So O to A, proportional limit, linear region. B, yield point, yield stress. B to C, yield, perspective plasticity or yielding. C to 2, strain horning. D to U, necking. See, any material for a ductile material, before going to fail, it must come across linear region, perspective plastic, yielding, strain horning, necking. The OTA says is directly proposed strain. The yield stress means with a small amount of load applied, the body gets strained. We again apply load, the strain is going to flatten. The strain is goes to continuously. C to D, strain horning. The D point, ultimate stress. E point, breaking stress, necking forming. So up to this topic, I want to conclude now. We will discuss some other topic in another day. Thank you.